Hey guys, today we are going to read the chapter Water Resources Geography Class 10th. Hey Pinky, did you see those awesome TV reports on floods in Assam? My god, what havoc they have created. It has destroyed and swept away everything in its path. Yes, Chintu, I did. Isn't it strange that water can give life and take life as well? What would we do without water? We need water to drink, cook our food, wash our clothes, and wash ourselves as well. My father was telling me that in his factory they need a lot of water for a number of things. Did you know that they even need water for cooling the machines? In fact, the factory runs on the powers supplied by the hydropower plant. Now I can understand why, through the ages, we as humans have chosen to live near water courses along the rivers and other water sources like springs, lakes, ponds, and oases. You already know that three-fourths of the Earth's surface is covered with water, but only a small proportion of it accounts for fresh water that can be put to use. This fresh water is mainly obtained from surface runoff and groundwater that is continually being renewed and recharged through the hydrological cycle. All water moves within the hydrological cycle, ensuring that water is a renewable resource. You might wonder that if three-fourths of the world is covered with water and water is a renewable resource, then how is it that countries and regions around the globe suffer from water scarcity? Why is it predicted that by 2025 nearly 2 billion people will live in absolute water scarcity? Water scarcity and the need for water conservation and management. Given the abundance and renewability of water, it is difficult to imagine that we may suffer from water scarcity. The moment we speak of water shortages, we immediately associate it with regions having low rainfall or those that are drought prone. We instinctually visualize the deserts of Rajasthan and women balancing many matkas, earthen pots, used for collecting and storing water and traveling long distances to get water. True, the availability of water resources varies over space and time, mainly due to the variations in seasonal and annual precipitation. But water scarcity in most cases is caused by overexploitation, excessive use, and unequal access to water among different social groups, where is then water scarcity likely to occur. As you have read in the hydrological cycle, fresh water can be obtained directly from precipitation, surface runoff, and groundwater. Is it possible that an area or region may have ample water resources but is still facing water scarcity? Many of our cities are such examples. Thus, water scarcity may be an outcome of large and growing population and consequent greater demands for water and unequal access to it. Large population use but requires more water not only for domestic use but also to produce more food. Hence, to facilitate the higher food grain production, water resources are being overexploited to expand irrigated areas for dry season agriculture. Irrigated agriculture is the largest consumer of water. Now it is needed to revolutionize the agriculture and through developing drought-resistant crops and dry farming techniques. You may have seen in many television advertisements that most farmers have own wells and tube wells in their farms for irrigation to increase their produce. But have you ever wondered what this could result in? That it may lead to falling groundwater levels, adversely affecting water availability and food security of the people. Post-independent India witnessed intensive industrialization and urbanization, creating vast opportunities for us. Today, large industrial houses are as commonplace as the industrial units of many MNCs, multinational corporations. The ever-increasing number of industries has made matters worse by exerting pressure on existing freshwater resources. Industries, apart from being heavy users of water, also require power to run them. Much of this energy comes from hydroelectric power. Today in India, hydroelectric power contributes approximately 22% of the total electricity produced. Moreover, multiplying urban centers with large and dense populations and urban lifestyle have not only added to water and energy requirements but have further aggravated the problem. If you look into the housing societies or colonies in the cities, you would find that most of these have their own groundwater pumping devices to meet their water needs. Not surprisingly, we find that fragile, fragile water resources are being overexploited and have caused their depletion in several of these cities. So far, we have focused on the quantitative aspects of water scarcity. Now, let us consider another situation where water is sufficiently available to meet the needs of the people, but the area still suffers from water scarcity. This scarcity may be due to bad quality of water. Lately, there has been a growing concern that even if there is ample water to meet the needs of the people, much of it may be polluted by domestic and industrial wastes, chemicals, pesticides, and fertilizers used in agriculture, thus making it hazardous for human use. Government of India has accorded highest priority to improve the quality of life and enhance ease of living of people, especially those living in rural areas, by announcing the Jal Jeevan Mission (JJM). The goal of JJM is to enable every rural household to get assured supply of potable piped water at a service level of 55 liters per capita per day, regularly on long-term basis by ensuring functionality of the tap water connections. Indian rivers, especially the smaller ones, have all turned into toxic streams, and even the big ones like the Ganga and the Yamuna are far from being pure. The salt on Indian rivers from population growth, agricultural modernization, urbanization, and industrialization is enormous and growing by the day. The entire life stands threatened. You may have already realized that the need of the hour is to conserve and manage our water resources, to safeguard ourselves from health hazards, to ensure food security, continuation of our livelihood and productive activities, and also to prevent degradation of our natural ecosystem. Overexploitation and mismanagement of water resources will impoverish this resource and cause ecological crises that may have profound impact on our lives. Multipurpose driven projects and integrated water resources management. But how do we conserve and manage water? Archaeological and historical records show that from ancient times we have been constructing sophisticated hydraulic structures like dams built of stone rubber, reservoirs or lakes, embankments and canals for irrigation. Not surprisingly, we have continued this tradition in modern India by building dams in most of our river basins. Hydraulic structures in ancient India. In the 1st century BC, Sringaverapura near Allahabad had sophisticated water harvesting system channeling the floodwater of the river Ganga. During the time of Chandragupta Maurya, dams, lakes, and irrigation systems were extensively built. Evidences of sophisticated irrigation works have also been found in Kalinga, Odisha, Nagarjunakonda, Andhra Pradesh, Benur, Karnataka, Kolhapur, Maharashtra, etc. In the 11th century, Bhopal Lake, one of the largest artificial lakes of its time, was built. In the 14th century, the tank in Horse Delhi was constructed by uh, Iltutmish for supplying water to Siri Fort area. What are dams and how do they help us in conserving and managing water? Dams were traditionally built to impound rivers and rainwater that could be used later to irrigate agricultural fields. Today, dams are built not for just for irrigation but for the electricity generation, water supply for domestic and industrial uses, food control, recreation, inland navigation, and fish breeding. Hence, dams are now referred to as multipurpose projects where the many uses of the impounded water are integrated with one another. For example, in the Satluj-Beas river basin, the Bhakra Nangal project water is being used both for hydropower production and irrigation. Similarly, the Hirakund project in the Mahanadi basin integrates conservation of water with flood control. Multipurpose projects launched after independence with their integrated water resources management approach were thought of as the vehicle that would lead the nation to development and progress, overcoming the handicap of its colonial past. Jawaharlal Nehru proudly proclaimed the dams as the temples of modern India. The reason being that it would integrate development of agriculture and the village economy with rapid industrialization and growth of the urban economy. A dam is a barrier across flowing water that obstructs, directs, or retards the flow, often creating a reservoir, lake, or impoundment. Dam refers to the reservoir rather than the structure. Most dams have a section called spillway or way over which or through which it is intended that water will flow either intermittently or continuously. Dams are classified according to structure, intended purpose, or height. Based on structure and the materials used, dams are classified as timber dams, embankment dams, or masonry dams, with several subtypes. According to the height, dams can be categorized as large dams and major dams, or alternatively as low dams, medium height dams, and high dams. We have sown the crops in Asar. We will bring Bhadu in Bhadra. Floods have swollen the Damodar. The sailing boat cannot sail. O Damodar, we fall at your feet. Reduce the floods a little. Bhadu will come a year later. Let the boat sail on your surface. This popular Badhu song in the Damodar Valley region narrates the troubles faced by the people owing to the flooding of Damodar River known as the River of Sorrow. In recent years, multi-purpose projects and large dams have come under great scrutiny and opposition for a variety of reasons. Regulating and damming of rivers affect their natural flow, causing poor sediment flow and excessive sedimentation at the bottom of the reservoir, resulting in rockier streams beds, and poorer habitats for the river's aquatic life. Dams also fragment rivers, making it difficult for aquatic fauna to migrate, especially for spawning. The reservoirs that are created on the floodplains also submerge the existing vegetation and soil, leading to its decomposition over a period of time. Multipurpose projects and large dams have also been the cause of many new environmental movements like the Narmada Bachao Andolan and the Tahri Dam Andolan, etc. Resistance to these projects has primarily been due to the large-scale displacement of local communities. Local people often had to give up their land, livelihood, and their meager access and control over resources for the greater good of the nation. So, if the local people are not benefiting from such projects, then who is benefited? Perhaps the landowners and large farmers, industrialists, and few urban centers. Take the case of the landless in a village. Does he really gain from such a project? Narmada Bachao Andolan or Save Narmada Movement is a non-government organization (NGO) that mobilized tribal people, farmers, environmentalists, and human rights activists against the Sardar Sarovar Dam being built across the Narmada River in Gujarat. It originally focused on the environmental issues related to trees that would be submerged under the dam water. Recently, it has refocused the aim to enable poor citizens, especially the ostrich displaced people, to get a full rehabilitation facilities from the government. People felt that their suffering would not be in vain, accepted the trauma of displacement, believing in the promise of irrigated fields and plentiful harvests. So often the survivors of Rhineland told us that they accepted their sufferings as sacrifice for the sake of their nation. But now, after 30 bitter years of being adrift, their livelihood having even being more precarious, they keep asking, are we the only ones chosen to make sacrifices for the nation? Sardar Sarovar Dam has been built over the Narmada River in Gujarat. This is one of the largest water resource projects of India, covering four states: Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. The Sardar Sarovar project would meet the requirement of water in drought-prone and desert areas of Gujarat. 9,490 villages and 173 towns, and Rajasthan 124 villages. So guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.